Today is September 26th. What are we doing?
Covering the pond.
Why?
Because it's cold. Almost.
And what does cold weather do?
It freezes.
What does it do to the trees?
The leaves will fall into the pond.
Exactly, and we're trying to prevent that from happening. So we bought this pond cover. This is a 28 by 45 pond cover. I didn't have a chance to put this on last year because we just moved in October, had too much going on. That sounded like a gun shop, by the way. But yeah, we're gonna try installing this today and try and keep some leaves out of the pond. All right, so when it comes to installing the pond cover, the best thing you could do is try and keep it up out of the water. If anything, you want it peaked in the center so the leaves can slide off to either side. If you throw the pond cover over the pond and let it sink down in the water, I mean, you could do it that way. It's just gonna be a mess because once the leaves sit on top of that pond cover, it's gonna be difficult to try and get them out of there. So what I'm planning on doing, I have my big shot slingshot, I have a throw weight and some throw line, and I'm gonna shoot this up over a notch. I have a, looks like a birch tree that kind of overhangs the pond. So I'm gonna shoot this over, and I'm gonna pull over a secondary line, and that secondary line is gonna be attached to the pond net and create peaks in the pond net, almost like a circus tent. And from there, we're just gonna pull the netting up, and we're gonna attach it down on the sides, and we'll see how this goes.
A wild hunter spotted.
Alright, so the shot line's up over the right branch, and we've attached this cordage to the other side of the shot line, and now we're just gonna pull the cordage over. Then once we pull it over our main branch, then we're gonna take out the pond net and we'll attach the pond net to the cordage, and then we'll pull it up like a circus tent.
Spider on you.
Ah. I think it's gone. Alright, what'd we do?
Got a spider off the camera?
Before that.
Oh, we cut down a tree.
That's correct. We harvested a sapling in the woods, and we're going to use that as a spine. My initial plan was to use a couple tennis balls, wrap the netting around that, and then tie a knot around that to kind of hold it up, but I'm not sure how strong or weak this stuff is. It seems a little bit on the flimsy side. So I decided that it'd be best if we just use a sapling as a spine, which that's attached via clove hitches. So we have a clove hitch here and there, and now we're gonna hoist it up, and we'll see how this goes.
Oh my gosh. The frog!
What?
The frog fell in the...
Can you grab it?
Yeah. The frog is now saved, and we may continue.
Looks pretty cool, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know how high it should go. I don't think I really have to go too much higher than that, actually. Alright, so what I gotta do now is I gotta take out the pond pump. Now, how my pond works is there are these filtration mats, and they get pretty nasty. In the summertime, we try to clean these out probably once a week, but in reality, they get cleaned probably every 3 or 4 weeks. So yeah, basically what these do, these filter out any kind of leaves and solid debris, and it just prevents the motor from getting clogged up, because if the motor gets clogged up, then it won't circulate water to the top of the pond. Now, you can remember how to do this. So the pump is unplugged, and I believe there's just a stainless steel hose clamp. Again, if it's a Phillips or a flathead. It's a flathead. So we'll just loosen this up and work this off. Like so. And just pull right out. And there is the motor. Try and make sure it's leaves and debris are out of here. All right, and we'll just hose off those mats, let them dry for a couple days, and then bring them in the garage. Here's how the net came out, and I'm pretty darn happy with how it turned out. These bricks really aren't adequate. I do need to add sandbags or logs or something on this side, just to ensure that, you know, if some leaves do collect here and we get a gust of wind, just want to make sure that the wind doesn't pull away. How did I anchor it on the hillside here? Well, I just found some big rocks, and that's going to do the job just fine. I can't imagine this netting pulling into the pond with those big rocks there. It's anchored quite well, and overall I'm pretty darn happy with how this turned out. Now, another quick note with this netting: when winter comes around, like right before we get the first snowfall, I do plan to take this off, because if you do leave this here over winter, if you let ice and snow collect on this, there's a good chance it's going to collapse. I mean, I trust my engineering pretty well, but I know it's not engineered to withstand heavy snow and ice loads. So keep it here for fall and take it off right at the first signs of winter. One thing left to do. Alright, so the last thing I need to do today is to cover my AC units, which it's optional. You don't have to cover them. You know, if you don't have, I don't know what these are, vinyl covers, you could always wrap them up in like garbage bags and duct tape. I think it's a good thing to do, because if you leave them uncovered, you know, you're going to get debris from the trees, sticks, leaves. They're going to get caught inside here, and you want to try and keep these condenser coils as clean as possible. So, you know, it's just a good habit to get into. Also, if you cover your unit, I'd really recommend shutting off the local breakers. Reason being is when summertime comes around, if you still have the unit covered, because that breaker's shut off, these will not turn on. If you leave those on and summertime comes around and you forget to uncover these, well, it's going to get really hot in there, and there's a chance you could burn out your pump or burn out your compressor or your fan motor. So, you know, the unit may get really hot, just not a good idea. So whenever you cover these, good idea to shut off the local breaker.
Like,